You pray for my demons till I catch you. Every time I sip on, I get wrong. Annoying the sounds of the storm when it comes. She understand I can't take her everywhere I'm going. I've been in the field like the children of the corn. I can hear your tears when they drop over the phone. Get mad at yourself cause you can't leave me alone. Gossip and miss, it ain't what we doing. Traveling around the world. Over the phone, dropping sales. I get my phone around the field. When you drunk, you tell me exactly how you feel.
Welcome in, y'all. Welcome.
For the real one, exactly what it is. I'll say it cause you know that's what I want to do. Yeah. I've been trapping around the world. I sit on my balcony and wonder
I am so excited. Welcome, y'all. Come on in. Let's get comfortable. Come on in, y'all.
Message say deliver, but I know that y'all don't get it. Why you introduce us if you knew that you was with them?
Got the men and the ladies lounge, y'all. I am so excited.
Because you know that I'm a swimmer. Supposed to be a dog, but you don't put me in a kennel. Girl, put a muzzle on it, all that walking over dinner. I was with you when you had a tiny presidential.
Welcome. Hello. Welcome, everyone. We're back. This is the very first episode of 2025. I am so excited to just welcome everyone. Welcome to the Ladies Lounge. Welcome to 2025. I know you all are excited. I hope you are excited as I am for 2025 and also for tonight's episode, y'all. So welcome to the Ladies Lounge podcast. Tonight's episode is one, of course, you don't want to miss because y'all are here watching it with us. And if you're watching it on rebroadcast, we know you definitely didn't want to miss it. Tonight, we're going to talk about fathers and foundation. Turning tragedy to triumph, featuring the incredible Darius Kelly, who I have here with me. Welcome. So we're going to dive into an inspiring conversation about resilience, addiction, and the profound impact of fatherhood. So join us as we are going to explore Darius' journey, the lessons learned, and how he turned life's challenges into the foundation of triumph, y'all. So you know what we do here in the Ladies Lounge. Y'all grab y'all favorite drink, get comfortable, and we're going to dive into it. And I know y'all are so interested and intrigued to know more about Darius, and I'm going to turn it over to him shortly, but you know we got to go over these house rules here in the Ladies Lounge. And it's simple. It's all the rules that we grew up on. We just want to be respectful, respect everybody's opinions, ask questions, engage actively. It definitely helps the conversation to just be active and engaging. You know, that's what we are here for. We share ourselves here in the Ladies Lounge podcast, and we keep it real. But most importantly, we're going to have fun at all times. Y'all, I am so excited. I'm always excited to be in the Ladies Lounge, but listen, the men are taking over. I can't say for the 99-2000 because we're in 2025, y'all, but definitely it means so much for the men to step up and come lounge with us. So Darius, welcome. Before we dive into, matter of fact, we ain't gonna even keep the suspense waiting. Go ahead and share with us who is Darius Kelly. Oh, we can't hear you.
How about now?
There we go.
All right. First of all, thank you for inviting me to the Ladies Lounge. I appreciate it. I love your energy. You kind of got me hyped with the energy that you bring.
You went back out on us. Look, tell them don't do that to us now. There we go. I think I heard you. There we go.
We on now?
Yep.
Okay. Hopefully that doesn't keep happening. But who is Darius Kelly? First of all, born and raised in, I usually say Memphis, Tennessee, but it's actually a small town on the outskirts of Memphis called Bartlett, Tennessee. It's a country boy, born and raised in the country. Obviously, sorry about that. Both my raised with both of my parents, so I had great example as a child coming up. I worked at FedEx. I started working at FedEx when I was 18 years old. And I just recently ended that career and decided to move into doing some of my own things that I've been wanting to do for a long time. The father of three. We'll get into more detail with that later. My pride and joy, my children, my pride and joy, and just like to simplify life as much as possible. I like to live in simplicity. I think a lot of times in life we are the ones who complicate things. So I'm just excited to be here, excited to be a part of the Ladies Lounge, and ready to get going.
Let's go. I know y'all have seen the topic. Where we're gonna dive deep into fatherhood. So this episode is really, I always say this, but this episode is so meaningful because we get to talk about the importance of fatherhood and the roles that fathers do play in the household. And we, not to give too much, but we're gonna dive a little deep. But however, I did want to share I was going over some statistics, that I wanted to just share of fathers and how they play a crucial role in the family structure. So recent statistics highlight the presence and involvement in American households. Children living with their fathers as of 2023, there's approximately 75.9% of children in the US, about 54.5 million out of 72.3 million reside with a biological step or adopted father. This marks the highest proportion since 1989. So I thought that was really interesting to know that fathers is a lot of fathers that are more present in the household nowadays. Now the statistics for single father households, because those do exist, we don't highlight that enough. But there are about 5.97 million children living with single father households. That's constituting 8% of households with minor children. So, and then we have fatherless homes, right? Despite the positive trends around that, we have around 18.3 million children living without a father in a home. That's representing 1 in 4 U.S. children. That's still a lot. That is still a lot of kids that grow up without their fathers at home. Now, this one is also interesting. We have stay-at-home dads. So since 2021, fathers accounted for 7% of stay-at-home parents in the U.S., reflecting a growing trend of dads taking on the primary caregiver role. In the time spent with children, fathers are increasingly dedicating time to child care. On an average, dads with children under the age of 18 spend about an hour per day caring for and helping their children with activities, including playing and providing physical care. So I thought these statistics was really, really, really interesting, especially with tonight's topic. So let's just dive in now that we've got these numbers going. For those who don't know, Darius is the founder of Daddy Will Always Love You. And Darius, if you can share your personal journey that inspired the creation around that, and what is it? You out again, Darius. That mic is like,
Every time I get quiet, it goes out.
right.
So yeah, I appreciate those statistics. Yeah, so I'm the founder of the Dwally Foundation. And Dwally is an acronym for Daddy Will Always Love You. And before I dive in,
Oh, you went out again. Don't I just love how we keep it real in the sound?
so am I on?
Yep, you're on.
Okay, I don't know why I keep doing that. So before I don't know what you last heard me say, but we have a real crisis on our hands. And it's not a black, white, brown, yellow crisis. It's a man crisis. It's a dad crisis.
Up, you went out. You stopped that. It's a dad crisis, and it's a crisis right now because we need to hear what's going on with this dad. Y'all, we gonna keep it real and having fun in the ladies' lounge. And we not perfect, okay? Technology is technology and life is life. And so this is what we just do here. We gonna have a good time till the devil stop trying to steal our joy and get this conversation out here.
Right. Let me see if I can switch my mic. Just give me a moment if you don't mind.
Okay.
But you hear me okay, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right.
So while we are switching mics, welcome everybody into the Ladies Lounge. If you haven't been able to check my latest episode that I did last week, I talked about planting the seed, watering it, and reaping the harvest. So when you get time, make sure you check out that episode. I hope that it is inspiring and motivating to someone. I want you to get excited for 2025 because this is all of our year. As long as you are planting that seed, making the vision clear, what is it that you want to do? And you're doing the work by the end of this year or this time next year, y'all, we're going to be dancing and celebrating our personal growth. So make sure that you tune in to the latest episode. I called it Planting the Seed, Watering It, and Reaping the Harvest. And what's your word for 2025? Put it in the chat. My people that's watching live, what is your word for 2025? Mine is faith in action. I got faith that we finna have this mic up and running. And Darius already putting forth the action. See how it all just comes together? But drop it in the chat, y'all. What is your word for 2025? Or you can have more than one. I have more than one. Or text it to me. Inbox it to me. What is your word for 2025? And I think we got Darius back on the ones and twos.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Hey, there we go.
All right. Sorry about that.
All right.
I got to switch my mic, so we should be good now.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So the crisis. I think that America needs to pay attention to this because we don't have enough fathers that want to be in their children's lives with the resources to do so. And so that is kind of why the Dwally Foundation exists, is to make sure that we close that gap. Now, how did this come about? So on January 1st, 2004, I had my first child. My son was born. Happiest moment of my life. I never knew what real love really felt like until I saw my son born. I had no idea that kind of feeling could exist. 2.5 months later, March 17th, 2004, I walk into the daycare to pick my son up. They tell me, oh, he's in the back, he's asleep. So I go back to get him, and he's face down on an adult-sized pillow. I pick him up, and his face is completely blue. I start mouth to mouth, and too late. I lose my son. So I went from extreme joy in 2.5 months, devastating sorrow comes over me. And just didn't know what direction to take my life after that. And anybody who's ever lost a child knows where I'm coming from in regards to that. So fast forward to October 6th, 2010. My daughter's born. Joyful, but scary. Because, when you lose something that you love as much as I love my son, the last thing you want to happen is for that to happen to you again. So very, very scary, but very, very happy, because here comes that joy. I'm filling back up with that joy and love once again. And I'm feeling like, okay, life is going to be okay. So I wanted to do something very, very special for her. Because obviously, with losing my son, I was very protective of her. I wanted to do something special for her. So I go to Things Remembered. Things Remembered still open? I don't even know if they're still.
It is. I was looking for my mom a Christmas gift on there, so it's still open.
Okay, all right. So I go into Things Remembered and I say, hey, I want to get something special for my daughter, I wanted to say something that's just between us, so that we can stay connected with whatever this is I put on this charm. And so I decided to put "Daddy will always love you" on this charm. It was a bracelet, beautiful. And they said, well, too many words won't fit. So I decided to just use the acronym DWALI. And I said, okay, this is cool. I'll use the acronym DWALI. And then the more I said it, the cooler it sounded. And so I said, okay, DWALI, I like it. So that's how DWALI was actually born. Now, the cool part about this is during this journey, I started meeting dads, right? Dads that were so passionate about their kids and that I never knew existed because I wasn't a dad. So I was like, man, there's a lot of us. There's a lot of us that's real about this daddy thing. We ain't really playing with it. And so I wanted to create something behind DWALI that would promote that where dads could have their inner voice show outward as far as how they felt about their kids. So that's kind of how DWALI was born.
Wow. That really, thank you for sharing, sharing yourself and your story with us here in the Ladies Lounge. And I can only imagine, I'm a mom, I have a son, y'all, he goes 17 in April. But y'all pray for me, okay? But when when you talk about how you gave this gift to your daughter, like that just sent chills because I'm a daddy's girl. I lost my dad back in 2020, March of 2020. So, when you talk about the presence of having your father, when she gets older and she tells her story and she knows the meaning behind what this is that you provided for her, like I can only wait to just hear her story behind it. So thank you. And now with this, with Wally, because I just really, really love that Daddy will always love you, because it's something now that, I even need to hear a lot more. But this ain't about me and the ladies. We're here to talk about the men. So with this, what challenges did you face while turning a personal tragedy into a foundation that uplifts others? Because we gotta we keep it real in the ladies' lounge, and so always when we're trying to do the right thing, we're gonna have stuff thrown at us, and it's not always from haters. I want people to understand that it's not always from haters. Sometimes God will throw curveballs to test your faith, to see how much you are going to rely on Him as well. So share with us those challenges that you face.
Yeah, so challenges, man, I tell you, and I talked about the crisis earlier, and some of these dads out here that need this help, and it's not really challenges that, anytime you're running a nonprofit, funding is always an issue. Mm-hmm. But when you know that there's a need and you can't help everybody that has that need, then it becomes a lot more difficult within your nonprofit organization. So I always wanted to build a community around this cause, around this movement. And I know movement is thrown out there a lot. But what does movement mean? It means a group of people getting together and pushing a cause forward, right? Mm-hmm. So with the foundation, the challenge has been getting the resources that these men need. And trust me, look, let me just show this real quick. So see this stack of papers?
Yes.
These are letters from dads, single dads struggling to be in their children's lives. Let me just share, since we keep it real in the ladies' lounge.
Keep it real, let's go, come on.
Yeah. Let me just share a few of these with you. So, and I'm not going to say names, just okay, for privacy purposes.
Yep.
Yeah. Need legal aid and guidance so I can be a father to my 3 children without drama from the mothers. Please help me. I don't know my rights, how to go about co-parenting the legal way. I have my GED. I work at GM. Just need someone to show me the way. Here's another one. I'm writing in desperate need of help and resources. I have 3 boys. My wife granted me custody of my boys, but she was in a domestic violence relationship, and she gave me custody, temporary custody. She then picked my children up and took them away and left the state. Is there any help and financial resources you can provide? Any help is appreciated. I'm desperate, struggling dad that wants to protect his kids. Let me just give you one more. I miss my daughter. The mother giving me a hard time because I have a girlfriend. I was supporting my child financially and spending time with my daughter. The mother makes it impossible when I don't do what she says. Now, getting these and reading these, because not everybody's as blessed as I am, right? And I understand that. I happen to have 3 children with 2 different moms. And although it wasn't always rosy, we are now in a position where I get to spend as much time with my children as I want to. And I get to enjoy the fruits of that labor. I get to get things like Best Dad and All-Star Dad, and don't know what I would do without Dad.
Yeah.
So the passion for me comes when these gentlemen want to have those same experiences. They want to be in their children's lives, but they don't have the resources to do so. They don't have the legal guidance. They don't have the finances. It's expensive to get an attorney. And I want to bring attention to this. I want to bring attention to a program that we're starting. It's called The Intrinsic Value of Parental Alienation.
Wow.
So a lot of people don't know what that is. But when you're a dad and a mom is weaponizing the children against you, she's alienating you, and that's not in the best interest of the kid. Who is that helping? Who is that helping? So, and I understand this is an emotional state for a woman, but at some point, we have to say, listen, we got to do what's best for the children. And I just want to educate people on parental alienation, but also educate the dads out there so that they know how to handle those situations properly. Because getting emotional back is not going to solve it. It's not going to solve it. So those are some of the challenges faced, but it's par for the course. You know, I expect it to be challenges, but that's what I'm here for. I want to get the resources to help some of these gentlemen to be in their children's lives, close the gaps. And you mentioned some statistics earlier, but there are also statistics out there that say when the dad's involved, communities are safer, schools are better, and the community thrives from a financial perspective when there's dads involved. And so we gotta close this gap, man. We gotta end this crisis and do one dad at a time. That's what I always say. If I can help one dad get there, that's one less dad that's out of the lives of their children.
I love that. One dad at a time. And so I gotta pause for a second because you said something that was powerful, and we are in the ladies' lounge and we do keep it real here. I'm gonna just say it, ladies, y'all need to stop using these kids as a pawn, right? Take your emotions out of it, because the question on the table is, when does it become about the child? It is important for a child to have both parents. Now, I hold myself accountable as well, because when my son was younger, there was a lot of decisions that I made when it came to his father based off of my emotions. I didn't know how to deal with my emotions. It's not to make an excuse about it, because I can sit here as the woman that I am today and say that that was wrong to act off of my emotions, because it never was about the child. And fast forward to today, my son actually lives with his father, because there was one thing I never wanted my son to do, was I never wanted him to grow up and go through life and say, I did not give him and his father the opportunity of a relationship. Now, what you do, father, with your relationship with that child is where the impact comes in at. And I also wanted to just say to my fathers as well, just because you have your child, that your child needs more than just you taking attendance. And I like to say that with just saying, "Oh, I'm content with just having my child in the household." The child needs more than that. They need to be nurtured. This is why I believe kids need both parents in their lives. But when we're talking to our fathers specifically for this episode, taking attendance is that comes along with you having your kid, but you have to be active. You have to show up and participate in their lives, and not just sit there and just be okay with just, oh, I just be able to say I have my daughter, I have my son. It's work that has to go into that as well, which is which takes me to my next question. How does this organization that you created empower fathers to build stronger connections with their children?
Yeah, so and I touched on a little bit of that. And a lot of times people talk about child support, and child support is necessary the majority of the time. However, it does not take the place of the presence of the father, because them kids don't know nothing about child support. They don't know where the money coming from. They don't know any of that. But when dad walks through the door, they see that. They know that. They feel that. And so the goal of the organization, as far as those connections, we want to connect that father who's either being alienated or doesn't have the resources to be in the children's life, to that child and the mother of that child, so that that gap can be closed and that child can get what they need from a nurturing perspective from both parents. Now, I live full time with two of my children. They live in the house with me. I have my son who's 9 and my daughter who's 4. My oldest daughter, she's 14. She lives with her mother, but we have 50-50 custody. When I tell you I'm blessed to have her as a co-parent, it's an understatement, because we put her needs first outside of our own. Now, it hadn't always been like that. It wasn't easy at first. Now, I ain't gonna try to make it sound like it was rosy, because we went through some struggles, some emotional times, but that's okay, because the end result is we have a child who's whole. She's emotionally stable. She knows both of her parents love her without a shadow of a doubt. And that's the most you can ask for when it comes to connections. But I want other dads to have that too, especially the ones who want to have it. It cost me, I'm letting you in my business a little bit now, but that's
Come
okay.
on now, we like that in the ladies' house. We like to let us in.
So my oldest daughter, when I went to the attorney, and I said, listen, this is what I want to do. He said, okay, you're already doing what you're supposed to do, so this is not going to be that hard. We need $5,000. Okay, $5,000. It cost me upwards of $10,000 to get this done, right? But not everybody has those types of resources.
Right.
So imagine the man that goes to an attorney and says, I want to see my kids, and they say $5,000, and he's demoralized because he can't pay that.
Right.
He can't afford that. So what does he do? He starts to kind of give up. because he doesn't feel like he has the resources to fight. That's where Dwali Foundation comes in. So dwalifoundation.org. Let me just throw that out there right now. You want to make a donation so we can help these dads, dwalifoundation.org. Go on there. There's ways to make donations. I also wanted to create this organization so that it could fund itself. So if you go to dwali.com, you can get you a nice t-shirt such as this one, Coolest Dad in the Universe. Ladies out there, if you got some cool dads in your life, if they're taking care of the kids, get them a t-shirt. There's about 5 or 6 different designs.
Be a nice gift, ladies.
That's right. Hook those dads up. But the biggest thing is we want to make sure that we're making children's lives better so they can thrive, so they can be out there doing the things that they want to do. So as they grow up in their communities, they can give back, they can reach out, they can be successful, they can thrive, and they're emotionally stable doing so.
Yes. And I just want to take a moment because this is so good. And in the words of my sister, she'd be like, oh, it's so juicy good. And I always speak for the ladies, or speak to the ladies, let me say, because I can't speak for them. However, going back to the statement I made of like, ladies have to stop using the child as a pawn, because what you just stated, like we play as women, we play a role in building that confidence in a man, who is a father, and he needs that, right? So we have to also, we also have to be that partner, that team player to build up our fathers so that way they can be the best, better version that they need to be for the child. Because a father presence, I'm going to keep saying this, is so important. Like women, we going to show up, we going to do what we have to do regardless. But it's nothing like a woman building up a man who wants to be in the child's life. I think that is the most attractive thing a man can do. Free game men, women, real women love to see men step up and take initiative, be in that, in their child's life, show how important it is, how important your children are. And so, we joked around about Valentine's Day is coming up, but definitely we talk about building community. We want to support one another. So let's make sure we are supporting this cause, because it affects our community, and it most importantly affects our children. So I just wanted to put that out there. So when you're talking about writing your vision and making it plain, some of y'all ladies need to put that down on your vision. Like, stop holding that man hostage from his kids. Like, that's ridiculous. We are in 2025. You need to let it go. Okay, whatever happened with y'all adults, y'all handle it separately. But we're not going to involve the children anymore, because then that's messing up kids mentally, and just whatever else that comes along with that. We just want to stop that for 2025 going forward. So that's my little spill on it. But taking it back to the beginning when you talked about how, the experience with your firstborn, and for fathers out there who are dealing with grief and struggling with personal setbacks, what advice do you have?
Yeah, so the first thing I would say is don't give up. So I can honestly say that I would give my life to my children with no hesitation. So why would I give up to fight, to spend time with them, to give of myself to them, because I know they need their father? So don't give up. I know sometimes it's frustrating. I know that, and let me just say this, as men, we have to take some responsibility for the lack of a better word, for the destruction of the emotions of these women, right? And I'm guilty of it. Like we mess up. And I'm talking about we mess up, man. We do.
You said it.
We do.
No, just like
We do. Now, that's not excusing the alienation or any of that, but we also have to make sure that we're taking some responsibility. We're not giving up on our children. We can't say bad things about the mom to lift ourselves up in any scenario. That doesn't help. So I'll say, don't give up. Don't badmouth the mother of your children, especially to your children.
Say that again. Say it for the
Don't
people
do
in the
that. back. Don't do that. It's not helpful. And let's know what our rights are. Men come to me all the time and say, she won't let me see my kid. What you mean, bro? What you mean she won't let you? You the dad, right? Yeah, I'm the dad. Well, if you the dad, let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. There are avenues to make it happen. And we're kind of like mechanical. We're bottom line individuals. And if we don't give up and we want something to happen, we're going to do whatever it takes to make that happen.
Yep.
So let's apply that same passion to our children. Let's not give up. They're watching. They're feeling. They're asking, where's my dad? Why doesn't he come see me? Come on, man, we got to show up. So that would be my advice. And I know, and I'm minimizing the difficulty of it because I know it's hard, but we have ways to make it happen. So that's what I want all the men to understand, that there are ways to make it happen. And that's why the foundation is so important, and I'm so passionate about it, because I know it's hard for some men, the men that want it. I have hundreds of letters from men that want to do it, but don't have the resources to do it. So that would be my advice to them.
I love that advice. And when you talk about the emotions part of it, I'm happy you said it first. So I'm just piggybacking off of what you said about how, as men, y'all be stressing us out. However, it goes hand in hand with having that emotional intelligence on both parties. And I do believe that as we grow and we mature, like you also stated, and we both are on the same page with this. In the earlier years, or later, younger years, we always didn't handle situations correctly, which is why for me it was so important that it was hard at first to let my son go and stay with his dad. It was extremely hard. But I did it for the purpose of I had to remove Brittany. Because if I would have kept my feelings involved, he wouldn't have been there. So I had to remove myself and say, but this is for my son. And also too, my son wanted to be there. So, and I love that you talked about, not bad mouthing mothers, and mothers not bad mouthing fathers as well. We don't have these adult conversations around these babies. They don't need to know that. I don't give a darn how much of, you done stepped on my nerve today, and I am done with you. But I'm gonna go vent to an adult versus my son could tell you to this day at 17 years old, I've never spoke bad about his father. I don't have to do that, and never want to. I wasn't raised like that. My mother and father wasn't in this, they divorced when I was young. Never, ever have I heard my mother speak bad about my father and vice versa. So I grew up, with the type of maturity of adults around that aspect. And so I understood how I let my emotions get involved, where I wasn't uplifted to my son's father in the earlier years, because I mentally just didn't understand. And I was so into how Brittany felt. And one of my great friends, he's a guy, he said to me, women are loyal to their feelings. Now, I kind of was like, well, wait a minute, now what does that mean? And so when I chewed on it a little bit, I understood it a lot more. Is when women get in our feelings, oh, we want y'all men to hurt. And we want y'all to hurt. And y'all probably ain't even hurt us like, that bad. But we gonna make sure we get back at you. And what way do we do it is always with the child. Like we have to get out of that. We have to, I'm gonna keep saying it throughout this episode, and probably the next couple of episodes. I'm gonna just say it the rest of the year. Because I want to see our fathers, like, I love this organization that you're doing. I love the movement. I'm for it. I support it 1,000%. Because one thing we're gonna do as women, we're gonna come together. We're gonna create some stuff to help each other out. Men are not gonna do it, but here we are today to let y'all know it is a man out here doing it. And, he's already captivating people, as you all can see, with the letters. So this is real. This ain't nothing, no fly by night type of stuff. This is real deal. And you're out here in the community and you're doing the work. So if y'all are watching this live, make sure you all are supporting the movement, the cause. And hopefully throughout this episode, there is something that resonates with you. Like I said, write the vision and make it plain with what y'all need to do. But as far as, because you talked about emotional intelligence a little bit, right? So how do you envision the role of fathers in shaping emotional and mental well-being for their children?
Yeah, being present is the biggest thing that you can do. And some men question their ability to be dads. There's no scripted book on how to do it. Fatherhood.gov is a website that if dads are out there and they're looking for ways to be in their children's lives and do fun things with them, that website has a lot of great information and tools for that. But nothing is more powerful than a dad's presence, physical presence with that child every single day. And I got, like I told you earlier, I got 2 kids in the house, right? So I figured when I had the second one, I wouldn't have to play with the first one as much. But I feel like I play with my kids more now than I ever have. When I'm like, it's 2 of y'all. Can y'all figure out how to play? No, Dad, you got to come play with us. But you know what I do? I put it down, whatever I'm doing, and I go play. And a lot of times, my daughter, can you come play dolls with me? A lot of times, all I got to do is lay on the floor with her while she's playing. She do all the playing. She just wants me there in the room with her. So the presence, there's nothing more important than being present. There are dads in the house with their kids that are not there.
Yep.
Don't be a dad in the house with your kids. They live with you.
Yep.
And they don't realize that you're even there. Don't do that. I encourage you to be active with them, because your activity is what builds the bond. It builds the relationship. It gives you the cachet to say, hey, son, or hey, daughter, I wouldn't do that. Let's don't do it like that. If you do it this way, you'll be a lot more successful. Because you got to give them something. Have something to give your children when they ask you questions. Give them something, nurture them, help them. And I think that helps the mental well-being of the child, that they can come to you if it's just a play, or if they have a question, or anything that they seem to be struggling with, whether it's school. It might be a bully. It might be mental health is a huge thing. There are children out there taking their own lives. If we're present, maybe we can prevent some of that. So let's be present. Let's have conversations with our children. Let's make up stuff to do with them. I make up stuff all the time, and sometimes it seems crazy. I make them come in, and we may do some improv, or we may just sit down and ask each other questions, or we may have reading time together. But those types of activities build bonds. They give children an opportunity to see you as not just dad, but as a human being that they can ask questions, they can talk to, all those sorts of things. So I think those are the types of approaches we got to take to make sure that the emotional and mental well-being of our children is something that we don't have to concern ourselves with over time.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And I thank you. I love, love, love that response because I've heard it myself. We keep it real here. I've heard it myself that a woman can't raise a man, right? And I love that you said when you have your child present, you be present. Don't just have the child in the household with you and you're not showing into their interests. If they're showing you that they are into sports, get up and get outside with them. Create good routines. Like I love that you said your daughter wants you to play dolls with her, and you just go in there and you like, I'm just laying on the ground. I'm just here. She just wants your presence, right? And
Right.
how often,
Right.
sometimes I think we need to, as adults, we need to listen to our inner child, like tap back into that a little bit and go back to those moments when you needed your parent. How did that make you feel when your parent was present? For those, of course, for those of us that had parents active, like for me, it was me and my dad, we went fishing, right? And I spent, like I told y'all, I'm a daddy's girl. So my dad would have properties and he would go paint. I'm in there painting with him. I'm in there putting up cabinet doors. I'm out there changing tires. It was just the time you spend, and it means so much to these kids. And also too, you are raising men and women at some point who are going to be mothers and fathers, who's going to be have to be out here in the community and be involved. So you want to set the foundation and do the groundwork now. So I love that you said that, to fathers to just be active, not only to just be present, but to be active. Take them to church. That's so important too. And if you don't go to church and you watch church online, but just have conversations, we listen, it's so much that you can do now as far as getting ideas and being creative, even if it's just going to having a picnic outside. It's so much that you all can do. So there's no excuse why you're not actively present. There's a difference between being present and actively present. So I love, love, love your response. Now, with your organization, what strategies or tools do you offer to help fathers balance their responsibilities and remain emotionally present for children? Like how do you help them? We're talking about being presently actively present in the child's life. So what tools do you offer fathers to help get there?
Right. So one of the biggest things fathers struggle with is when they're not set financially, it takes a toll on their emotional state. So we aim to, when we can, I can tell you, I get some letters that where they're asking for things we can't do, right? But when we can, we want to ease the burden of a dad's finances. And my organization focuses on single dads. So we want to ease the burden of a dad's finances, whether it be to get that attorney or whether it be, I would love to be in a space where a dad says, I want to get, and I got a letter similar to this, I want to get my child out of this environment. We're in a very bad, dangerous environment. I would love to be in a situation where I can vet that dad's situation and see if it's as dire as he's saying it is, and be able to help him get out of that situation. We're building a community of resources for these dads. I'm not a psychiatrist or psychologist. I'm not an attorney. I'm none of those things. I'm just a dad that's trying to connect other dads to these things. So we're building a network of attorneys, doctors, child psychiatrists, people that can help these dads to get through some of the things that they're going through. And we're continuing to build that network because these letters, this is not just a Florida thing either. Earlier I said it's not a black, white, brown, or yellow thing.
Right.
It's a man thing. It's a dad thing. It's not just a Florida thing. These letters are coming from all over this country. So we want to make sure that we're connecting dads, and children, and moms to resources. We focus on the dads because they are the ones that we engage. Because historically, and you read the numbers, it's been the absence of fathers in the home, or the absence of fathers in general. Now that's getting better because there's a lot of attention on this right now.
Right.
There's a ton of, it's not just me. There's a lot of people talking about this right now.
Yeah.
So we want to connect these dads to these resources so that they can be what they need to be for their children, and balance those responsibilities, because your child doesn't understand the struggle. They still need your time. Like we just talked about earlier, they still need you to spend some time with them and commit to, my son runs track, right? So I think about this all the time because a lot of places I go and a lot of things I do is mostly moms there. So my son runs track, and there's quite a few dads out there, which is really good. But I always think about a kid that wants to run track and their parents can't afford it. Dads reach out and say, I just want my son to be able to participate in the sports. I can't afford spikes. I can't afford a helmet. I can't afford shoulder pads. I can't afford these things. We want to be a resource for that. We want to be a resource for these dads that want these types of things. And that's on the minimal side, but it takes funding and it takes resources and it takes knowledge of those resources to close that gap.
Wow. So it pretty much answered my next question I have for you, as far as how can the community and families better support the organization. Is getting out there, you all. Darius, if you could share your website one more time for people that are just coming in, welcome you all. So that way we know where we can go and support and then show up for one another. This is a great cause that impacts us all. There, like you said, I love it. All walks of life. This is something that we all need to come together and stand 10 toes down with each other on, because it affects our children, right? Not just mine personally, but all the children out here in the community overall. Now in the Ladies Lounge, we love a good success story. So with this organization and how long you have been growing it and expanding it, what is one of your favorite success stories with your organization that you can share with us to help us understand resilience and triumph?
Right. So from a success story perspective, and let me just preface this by saying, what may seem small to the man who is in the lives of his children and doing the day-to-day functions of a father, this may seem small. And this message is for that guy, right? That guy who's saying, I'm the coolest dad in the universe. Like the shirt, right? I'm the coolest dad. I got this. I don't need no help. Well, you probably are the coolest dad in the universe. There's a lot of coolest dads out there. But guess what will happen if all the coolest dads get together and then help these men who are trying to get where we are?
Right.
Because guess what? It might be your child that's going to school with the kid that doesn't have his father,
Mm-hmm.
and they go down the wrong path, and they come to the school and do something unthinkable.
Mm.
So yeah, we feel great about what we're doing, but let's make sure that we're not forgetting that there are dads out there that want to be in the position that we're in, and there are children out there that need that affect our children.
Right.
On a daily basis.
Right.
So from a resilience perspective, there was a young man, and he was engaged, had 2 daughters, and his fiance decided she didn't want to get married anymore. So he didn't understand why. Well, come to find out that he had met somebody else. And he took some responsibility for that. There are some things that he could have done differently that he didn't do. But that's neither here nor there. He calls and he says, I'm not letting another man be around my kids. I'm not doing it. And I don't know what to do, but that's not happening. So I say, well, calm down. Because the first thing you got to understand, and I want to say this to all men out there, you can't fight that with your hands. You can't fight that with violence. No, you got to accept that. There's nothing you're going to be able to do that. And that was the message I gave to this young man. I understand those are your children. You've been in their life. Nothing's going to change the fact that you're their father, and they know that. Nothing's going to change that. So how do we get to a point where you get to spend as much time as possible with your children? Now, this man had resources. He just didn't have the knowledge. When I say resources, I mean the financial resources.
Okay.
He just didn't have the knowledge on how to go about it. So, long story short, he was able to retain an attorney, get 50-50 custody for his children. I was able to guide him through that so that he ensured that he wasn't, he would take the emotion out of it. He didn't even have to go to court. It went through mediation. And through mediation, he was able to get 50-50 custody of his children. His child support, he didn't care nothing about no child support. He was like, I'll pay whatever I got to pay.
Wow.
He didn't care nothing about that. And I like that, because when men come to me and say, I want to be in my kid's life, first thing I say is, okay, you want 50-50 custody? Well, yeah. Okay, do you understand what that means? When they're with you, guess what you got to do now? You got to take them to school. You got to feed them. You got to get them dressed.
Right.
She's in ballet. Okay, you got to take her to that. You got to make sure they got the clothes. You got all the stuff.
Yep.
All the stuff now. So if you're ready for that, then you can get 50-50 custody in most states, as long as you hold up your end of the bargain. Now, if you don't feel like you can handle that, maybe you do like a weekend thing. And I think of it in stages, right? There are stages for single dads. There's a stage 1 single dad who just gets their kids on the weekends, and that's their physical presence, and they pay the child support. There's a stage 2 where he's 50-50. He got a little more responsibility, because when the kids are with him, he got to do all the things. And then there's a stage 3 where these dads got their kids full time, and there's no mom present. And I get a lot of letters, whether the mom's on drugs, deceased, whatever the case may be, where they got the kids and there's no mother involved at all. And nurturing is not a natural thing for men. It's something that we have to pull from deep within us to be nurturing holistically. And those men have to really get it. I mean, it's listen, I had my daughter, my oldest, for 3 months by myself when she was 2, because her mom went off to training. She had to go off to training for the job. Man, hey, it's no joke. Shout out to the single moms out there that's doing it every day. It's no joke, And it was tough. It was tough for me, but I learned a lot. I learned how to respect. It gave me a greater appreciation.
Right.
It gave me a greater appreciation for what has to happen. But it also gave me the strength to know that I can do 50-50. I can do all the things.
Yep.
I was prepared to do all the things. So I don't know if that answers your question, but I think that young man was happy with the result after he got out of his feelings about another man being around his children. It ended up the man wasn't around that long anyway. So you know, he's happy with his situation now. And there are many stories like that, but there are many more stories where it didn't turn out as well as it should have because the resources weren't there.
Wow. And yes, that does answer the question. And I love the response because we also have to understand that, you know, the fathers out here that want to step up, that don't realize that they have the resources, they weren't raised by their dad. They may not have had, you know, a father figure in their life. So they're also trying to figure this out as they go. So I love that you redirected the emotion to say, hey, instead of acting out of emotion in the form of you know, physically, here's the way that you could put this emotion into these resources and do it correctly so that way your outcome is different, you know, because now if you react in a physical manner, here it is now, you are another man behind bars, you know, most likely, and out of the home completely of your child. So that that does answer the question. And I know that we're almost coming to an end, and I am just enjoying having you here. But I would love to know, with the start of a new year, how do you plan to expand Daddy Will Always Love You and its impact in the future?
Yeah, so we have a plan this year to bring more attention to the cause. We are setting up a podcast now for Dwali so that these stories I have, we can get it out to the masses in hopes that the masses will feel something that will generate some kind of willingness to assist. So we can raise the funds, DwaliFoundation.org. If anybody wants to donate, we're trying to help these dads. But we got to bring some attention to this because I know how we are as men. Like we'll watch something and okay.
Right.
So we got to bring greater attention to this. Like I said, it's a crisis that has gone on for a very long time, and we're gonna expand. We're gonna try to reach the masses. We're gonna try to get this parental alienation program rolling, just to bring some awareness to it, and so people understand what it is, in hopes that women, and I'm saying women, but sometimes dads can do some alienating too. But so that people understand when they're doing it, like you're alienating, you might not realize it, but you're doing that right now. And that people can understand when it's happening so that they know how to handle it. So that's our goal for this year for the foundation. Dwali.com, a percentage of the proceeds from these shirts go to the foundation. I want to try to make the foundation self-sustaining as much as possible in case there are no donations that come in. But I'm passionate about it. It's near and dear to my heart. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to give up because Daddy Will Always Love You was a creation that was born from my oldest daughter. So I'll never give up on her, and I'll never give up on this movement, because it's a part of who I am.
I love that. Thank you. Well, I'm going to say it here live that you have the Ladies Lounge full support. And I definitely will be in connection with you of how we can help and, you know, donate and just be involved as well, and maybe do some collaboration to just bring people together for a cause. And also, too, those who are watching, if you support the Ladies Lounge and you have been rocking with me for some while now, you know how I am about supporting. So if you support me, let's go ahead and support this cause as well. And to just close it out, Darius, what legacy do you hope to leave for fathers and their children through your work?
Yeah, so one dad at a time. I hope that I had an event in December, this past December. It was a Fathers Matter festival, and my children, they were there. And my oldest children understand. My youngest, he's starting to see the light, but now they're seeing the mission. They're seeing what I'm trying to accomplish. And they're starting to ask questions about it. They're starting to feel it. And I just hope that, number one, my children see me trying to help people and give back. And they pick up on that. And at some point, they do the same. I'm hoping that I can build a community, that Dwali builds a community of men and women that will come together and help these dads be a part of their children's lives. And when that happens, it has a resounding effect on what Dwali is and what it's meant to be, and it impacts fathers across America, even if it's one dad at a time. And I just want to help somebody else. I don't know if you, one of the things, I was watching the movie, I can't remember the name of it. It was a Denzel Washington movie. It was the one where he had the Bible, and he was protecting the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, the lady asks him, "Why are you protecting that book? Like, what's in it? What does it say?" And he says, simply put, do something for somebody other than yourself. And that's the legacy that I want to leave as a man, as a father, and as a founder of the Dwali Foundation. I hope that to be my legacy.
That is, whew, you gave me chills and goosebumps and everything. That is amazing, Darius. Thank you so much for coming into the Ladies Lounge and kickstarting 2025. And hopefully that we directed people in the right direction to know that, men, here's your resources. As I always share in the Ladies Lounge, this is what I use my platform for. You don't have to have the followers. I don't have no degree in psychology and none of this stuff. What nobody can tell us though is, we've experienced life. And that's what, we're doing here is using our voices to bring the community together, have these conversations, and understand that it is resources out there within our own community. And I'm so excited, y'all. You asked for it. Here it is. The men are lounging in the ladies' lounge. And to my fathers, you all played a crucial role in the household with shaping the emotional, social, and intellectual development of your children. And here are why your presence and involvements are so significant, because children have the emotional support and stability, what we talked about here, the academic and social success. Some nuggets was dropped about that, as well. And discipline and boundaries, right? The male presence is important in the household, with that part especially. Us women, we try to do what we could do as far as that go. But ladies, I'm here to tell y'all we don't be doing it like the men. Like, you ever seen the kids come in? You be trying to get these kids to sit down, but when that father walk in and just do one of them, just the presence, like, and they sit down. I know y'all women be like, and I ain't this about something. And then we also talk about building a strong foundation. That is so, so important. Look at all the storms that we experience if you are in Florida, if you are up north in the cold weather and the snow and stuff. Look how these buildings are still standing because of the foundation that they are standing on. So imagine as men, if you build that foundation with your kid, imagine what they have, what their life is going to have to offer for them. In the future. And then also, most importantly, role modeling is what I also heard in this conversation. And to just stay on the topic of role modeling, you all, if you are following me, Ladies Lounge, on TikTok, Britt Danielle on Facebook, you have seen me post about the men are here, they are showing up and representing. So staying on that role model topic, we have next week Mel Bowden, who is going to come and he's going to talk about um, role models. And he just started his new role modeling for men. And I think for young men, I think right now he's at 80. He's also in Florida. He's in Apopka. So the men are out here. They're in the community, ladies. We have to show up and support them. I'm not asking, I'm telling. Yep, that's what I'm doing. Because as Darius has shared with us, it is important for us to show up. Let's support Darius. Darius, if you could share your website of where we can order the t-shirts, where we can donate and make sure that we are supported. Can you share that with us one more time?
Yeah, absolutely. www.dwallyfoundation.org. There's a link to the store on there. There's also a way to donate. We're a 501c3 organization. So it is, you do get some tax benefits from donating to the foundation. If you go to dwally.com, that's where all the t-shirts are. You can get a t-shirt, a portion of the proceeds go to the Dwally Foundation. You can get a t-shirt. You can get some bands. I wear these religiously every day. There are different color bands there, and we're going to be adding more products as well. So please support. Shout out to all the dads out there. Keep doing what you're doing. Stand up. Thanks for being in the lives of your children. You're the coolest dads in the universe. I appreciate it.
I love that. So you all, not only do you get to donate to this great cause, but Darius got some swag for y'all. And this is just goes to show you why I love being here in the Ladies Lounge. And again, if you are able to check out my recent live where I talked about planting the seed, watering it, and reaping the harvest, you all, this is the part. These episodes are the parts that I get to reap the harvest of the seeds that I planted, right? So when I talked about what I wanted the Ladies Lounge to look like, it started off with just being inspirational and motivational to just women. And then, it was like God spoke to me. It was like, but the community is far beyond women. I love my ladies. We have so many, it's so many women out here that are doing the work of creating the safe space for women already. What the Ladies Lounge is now doing is creating that safe space and providing the resources to both men and women, because we need to bring it together and bridge those gaps. And again, y'all, the resources are right here in our own community. So thank you for rocking out with your girl in the Ladies Lounge, you all. Thank you for being on live and supporting. And make sure y'all connect with Darius. Darius, thank you for accepting the invite to come on the Ladies Lounge podcast. This is not the last time we are going to see Darius. He just found out today. So hopefully he will come back and we can have an update, to see where we are with the work that we are going to do to help this cause. And you all, please make sure that you are subscribed to the Ladies Lounge YouTube podcast, because again, next week we have Mel Bowden, who's going to come in and he's going to talk about the men of swag, redefining community, mentorship, and male role models. So don't want to miss this. Darius has set the tone. The men are on fire, ladies. So connect with us next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Make sure you connect with Darius. Darius, are you on social media as well for my people who are in the social media street?
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram, Dwally or Dwally Movement. You can find me on those platforms as well as Twitter. And thanks for having me, Britt. I appreciate you inviting me to the Ladies Lounge. You've been amazing. You're an amazing host. And I appreciate you allowing me to come on here and share my story.
Thank you. You are so welcome on behalf of the Ladies Lounge. You have an amazing night. Thank you so much for being here and being a part of the Ladies Lounge. Until then, I will see you all next week. You all have a